Welcome back to Four Wolves Takes, where your boy, Artis Woods, will bring you 4 fresh Minnesota Timberwolves takes. Now, last week, when I came on the show, y'all got on me about my intro. Yes, I saw the comments. I saw y'all getting on me about my intro. I was trying to imitate blowing in my hands like you see, star players doing, right before the game, right before the tip-off, trying to make sure their hands are dry and not clammy and whatnot. And I was trying to imitate that, and of course, y'all did me wrong. Y'all did me dirty, man. So, it is what it is. It's all fun and games. It's all comedy. I laughed. It's fun. I like that back and forth with you guys, and I'll take it. I'll hold my L. It is what it is. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you what's not fun and games, and that is the Minnesota Timberwolves right now. The Minnesota Timberwolves have officially clinched a playoff spot. Now, I know this was a foregone conclusion. Every episode that I've done with Four Wolves Takes, basically since I've started, has been about the playoffs. Because this has been a foregone conclusion that they will make the playoffs. We knew it was coming, but it feels good to be official. It feels good to actually clinch. I know they've been to the playoffs the last few years, but it feels good to clinch. I was in the building for the Rockets game, and they announced this news that the Wolves have clinched a playoff spot, before tip-off, before the teams came out for warm-ups and whatnot. Everybody was kind of getting to their seats, getting situated. Wasn't a ton of people in the building. But for the people that was in the building, not at the concession stand, getting foods and drinks, when the announcement was made, there was a huge roar, just a huge cheer, and just the feeling of excitement is in the air, in the building for what the Wolves, can accomplish this season. And right now they're sitting in the 2 seed. So like I said, the Wolves are not playing any games. They are continuously finding ways to win, no matter who's on the court, no matter who's playing well, who's not. They are finding ways to win, and I love to see it. It brings me to my first take of the day. March 29th marks the biggest win of the season for the Minnesota Timberwolves. The biggest win of the season. Listen, I know that Jamal Murray did not play. Yes, I know he didn't play. Before everybody's, Jamal didn't play. I know Jamal didn't play. And excuse the old graphic. You guys get the point. The take is the take, all right? The point still stands, right? Nobody gave the Wolves that excuse for real, besides Minnesota media, when they played the Nuggets without Naz Reid, without Rudy Gobert, and without Karl Anthony Towns. Everybody just said they lost. And we don't believe in moral victories. And I, for one, also don't believe in moral victories. But if there was ever a time to believe in moral victories, that was the time to believe in a moral victory. That was the moment where I said, that's. I like that one, because I had the mindset that to come within 3 points of beating the defending champs, in Minnesota, without 3 bigs, when you got to worry about guys like Aaron Gordon, guys like Jamal Murray attacking the basket, guys like Jokic, maybe the MVP of the league this year, to come within 3 points of tying that game, getting into overtime and potentially winning was insane. It was insane. And I was of the mindset that beating them in Denver would be tough, which is why I said that's the most important game of the season. But then after that game, I had to go back and retract my statement and say, I don't know now. Maybe you can beat Denver in Denver. I don't know. Maybe you can take them out in Denver. And sure enough, you match up with them again, albeit without Jamal Murray, and you get a W. And this is huge. Not only did they go out there and they dominate and everybody played well for the most part, but this is huge because now you have a 2-1 lead over the Nuggets as far as season series is concerned. And the worst thing that can happen now is if you play them again and you lose, you tie, right? But the Wolves are in the lead right now. And if they end with the same record as the Denver Nuggets, they have the division tiebreaker, right? So right now, you're in a great spot as far as comparing to the Denver Nuggets, as far as seeding is concerned. You're in a great spot because I, for one, want to finish above the Denver Nuggets. I do. We don't fear those guys, but playing in Denver in the playoffs is tough. Playing in the altitude in the playoffs is tough. We saw it last year. It is difficult for any team to go in there and beat them in Denver. So if you can get 4 games in Minnesota, make these guys travel back out here for these games, that could be huge in the process of making the playoff run. If you meet this team, that could be huge. It would be huge. And so I think that was the biggest win of the season. I think it was a massive confidence booster, as if you didn't already have a ton of confidence already as a Timberwolves fan or a Timberwolves player. To go out there and ball like that and win. I mean, Anthony Edwards at the free throw line at the end of the game tempted to shoot a free throw left-handed. That tells you all you need to know. That tells you all you need to know. This team is oozing with confidence. This team just took down the defending champs, albeit without Jamal, but we don't care. It was a big-time win, and it helps you immensely as far as standings are concerned. Again, biggest win of the season. Take number 2. The Wolves can win games without their stars playing well. This is big. Because if you noticed, Anthony Edwards has been a little off lately. The shot has been a little off. You know, he might have dead legs. He might be a little tired. It might be the dislocated finger on the left hand. It could be a lot of different things that's playing a part in why he's not playing the best that he could play right now. Why he's not shooting the best that he can shoot right now, right? You know, in the case of Anthony Edwards, the thing I love about Anthony Edwards is he stays involved, though, right? Just like I said about just like I said about, Jaden McDaniels, the defense doesn't change. The defense doesn't shift. It's the same thing for Anthony Edwards, right? He's still going to play solid defense. He's still going to, bring, allow defenses to collapse to him and make plays for other players on the floor. He's still going to lead. He's still going to be Anthony Edwards, but the shot is off. In the playoffs, however, or going forward, however, you need your teammates like they have recently done. You need these guys to step up around you so that you could continue to win games without him playing well. Anthony Edwards did not shoot the ball well in the Nuggets game. Yet and still, you got major contributions from guys like Jaden McDaniels, guys like Rudy Gobert. Jaden had 17. Rudy Gobert had 21 and 12. Right, Mike Conley, who's been aggressive like I wanted him to be. 23 and 8 in that basketball game. Right, so you're getting contributions from other guys. Hey, Ant is off. It might not be his best shooting night. He hasn't hit a 3 in a while. Hey, we finna go out here. Nas, Rudy, Mike Conley, we gonna ball. Kyle Anderson, shout out to Kyle Anderson. Get them in a hot second. We gonna ball. We are going to ball. We're going to play well. In the Rockets game, same thing. He started the game off, Anthony Edwards, like 0-6. Here comes Nas Reed carrying the offensive load, right? Here comes Kyle Anderson. Probably the loudest. What do you have, like 13 points in that basketball game? Probably the loudest 13-point game I've seen in a long time. 13, 9, and 6. He exploded for 13 points. That's what it seemed like, being in the building, being there in the flesh. I mean, the moves at the basket, the Euro step on the fast break to fake out Jalen Green. Sick. I mean, he played lights out basketball. And again, this is what you need. Going into the playoffs, teams are going to try to shut down Anthony Edwards, and he's not going to always ball out. Karl-Anthony Towns, when he gets back, teams are going to try to shut down Karl-Anthony Towns, and he's not going to be able to go off every single night. So if they go off games 1 and game 2, or one of them go off in game 1 and game 2, and then game 3 and game 4 on the road, they struggle. If you can split those games because your role players are coming in, balling out, now you're going back home with a 3-1 lead, and you looking at Ant and Cat, or one of the two, like, hey, one of these guys going to explode because they've been off the last 2 games, opposed to going back tied now, and now it's really a series. I think this is huge. If you can win games without your stars playing exceptional basketball, you are in a really good spot heading into the playoffs. And that's how I felt watching the Rockets game. It's also how I felt watching the Denver Nuggets game. Not to say Anthony Edwards is playing terrible basketball right now, just not as efficient as we're accustomed to him being. And, earlier when Karl-Anthony Towns went down, we saw Ant putting up a lot of shots. 35 shots, 27 shots, 23 shots. This was against Indiana, Cleveland, LA, 29 against the Lakers or against the Clippers. I mean, we seen him put up a ton of shots, and honestly, I thought that was the key. I'm like, Ant got to go out here and chuck. He got to put the ball up. It is what he got to really carry the offense. But since then, we've seen him kind of taper it back, and everybody else step up. We've seen him not play as well, and everybody else step up, and they are still winning. It is a beautiful thing to see. It's a beautiful thing to see, y'all. Take number 3. J-Mac is underrated. He's underrated. Now, I'm not saying underrated in the sense of, him as a guard in the NBA altogether, right? He's averaging like 3 points a game. He's not getting a ton of tick. But I'm just speaking on, his role on the basketball team. That's what I'm talking about right now, right? J-Mac is shooting 51% from 3. I know everybody else has said it. I'm going to say it again. J-Mac is shooting like 51% from the 3. That's insane. Now, again, he's not taking a ton of them. It ain't like he's shooting 10 threes a game. It's not like he's playing 20, 30 minutes a game. No. But in the short time that he's out there, lately, he has been effective. He's been a very important player. You got the game against the Pistons where he had 8 points, no turnovers. The game against the Cavs where he had 12 points, 4 assists, no turnovers. The game last night against the Rockets, 11 points, 7 assists, just 1 turnover, and the best plus minus of any player in the entire game. Not just with the Wolves, but with the Rockets as well. His impact on the game coming off the bench was huge. It was huge. I mean, he played sensational. He played within himself. He played within his role. He doesn't turn the basketball over. He's a guy that comes in similar to a Mike Conley and just does his job, man. Don't overdo it. Don't get the ball to your teammates, shoot the wide open shots, make the wide open shots. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. He is underrated. A lot of players get mentioned before you get to J-Mac. We talk about Ant. We talk about Cat. We talk about Nas Reed. We talk about Kyle Anderson. We talk about Nah. We talk about some of everybody. Mike Conley. We talk about everybody else before we get to J-Mac. But J-Mac is an important piece. If he's playing like this, he's an important piece. If he's playing like this, spacing out the defense like how he has recently by making perimeter shots and getting everybody involved, and again, not turning the basketball over, the Wolves are tough to beat. They are tough to beat, bruh, because that's just another player that you have to defend. You got to worry about him a touch, maybe not a lot in the limited time he's out there, but you got to worry about him. You got to be aware of where he is on the basketball floor because he's shooting 51% from the field, not turning the ball over and getting everybody involved. You love to see it. You love to see it. Last take of the day. The ownership drama is irrelevant. It's so irrelevant. Do not allow the stuff with ownership to distract you from how well this team has played this season. This could be a distraction for the fans as well as for the players if the players allow it. They haven't, which is great, right? We know some locker rooms in NBA cannot withstand this type of stuff. It sounds crazy, but it's the truth. Just the little bit of adversity, a little bit of drama, and it crumbles. That's not the Timberwolves, and I don't think it should be the fans either. I've heard some talks among some fans, even at games, in the background of this stuff, like, man, this is crazy. This is like, man, full disclosure, I barely know what's going on. I'm so disconnected because I'm locked in with how well this team is playing that it don't matter to me. These are two, billionaires going at it back and forth about who knows what. Who cares? Wolves fans, who cares? We don't care. It's irrelevant. Let's focus on how great this team is. Allow nothing to distract you from the fact that this team is accomplishing things that they haven't accomplished since Kevin Garnett in the city of Minneapolis. All right, that's my thing. That's my take. I don't even know. That's why I haven't talked about it on the show. I haven't talked about it on Taxi Squad. Shout out to Taxi Squad. Make sure you tune in if you haven't already. I don't care. I do not care. I do not care. Let's focus on the greatness of the Timberwolves and how great this team is playing and the playoff run that they are setting themselves up to go on. Again, the number 2 seed in the West is nothing to sneeze at, y'all. It's nothing to sneeze at. But that's all I have for y'all today on 4 Wolves Takes. I'm afraid to use my can I use my hands, y'all? Can I do anything with my I don't even know. Cause y'all got on me, man. I don't want to do nothing with my hands. Thank y'all for tuning in to this week's episode of 4 Wolves Takes. I will catch y'all on next week's episode. Let's get a dub tonight as well.